Okay, so we want to explore the ChatGPT workspace. The ChatGPT workspace is, like I said, is very plain, and at the moment, because it's a new account, we have nothing. But let's just take a quick look at what makes up the workspace and what are the features of ChatGPT. So, just like a normal SaaS application standard, you have a left side navigation bar, which you can collapse and you can extend, and you have navigation item menu. So you have new chat. You can also search for chats. You have something called projects, which we will talk about later on. And you have codex, which is more like an extended functionality of ChatGPT, which is more focused into code work, like writing code. And then you have more that gives you other things that are hidden, like if you want it to be focused on just generating images, or if you want to do a deep research, like proper, like as if you're an academic writing and you're doing a lot of article writing and you're doing a lot of research. And apps actually takes you to a place where you can actually connect ChatGPT to various applications like Outlook email, Gmail, Outlook calendar, Google Calendar, and a whole lot of apps that are out there that people can just connect directly, and then they would just interact with the chat interface, and then it would link into those platforms and pull whatever they need to pull. We'll get to that as well at some stage. Probably not in this course, but in a more advanced version of this course. And you have your chat input interface, which looks like the Google search kind of approach. This is where you normally type in and ask your questions and literally interact with a large language model. And another thing I wanted to mention is that this interface actually is very powerful because there's a couple of things that you wouldn't know if you're a beginner. Other than just typing, there are some other things you can do as well by just engaging this slash. I don't know whether that's a forward slash or a backslash. I think that's a forward slash. When you engage the forward slash, if you just literally type in the forward slash, you have other options that come up for you to kind of like make the input focus. So you're not just typing away, you're letting the model know that whatever I'm typing, I need it to be focused on any of these. So when I click on, say, create an image, that I know it's focused on create an image. When I change it to something else, to thinking, then it knows that whatever we are going to go and have a conversation about is about that. It's going to be requiring a lot of thinking. So using the slash gives other options that are hidden. And as well, just bear in mind, this is obviously where you put in every text and then you get a response. We're not going to try that yet. Other things to know about the workspace is this section here, which is your profile icon, and it also gives you some other menu options. So when you go to the user account, it gives you the option to add another account, or you can log out. Now you have some quick go-to links, like if you want to upgrade your plan. We have personalization, we have profile, and we have settings. All of these give you, ways to configure your ChatGPT the way you see it fit. So I am just going to go to, say, settings, for example. So when you go to settings, we have another pop-up kind of window that has another left side navigation that gives you a lot of things, a lot of options, and a lot of chances for you to configure ChatGPT the way you want. So, like for instance, when you go to general, you have things like how you want to set the appearance, how you want the contrast to be, the color, the language, auto detect, and all that. So, for instance, appearance, I can change it from system to either of these. I can change the contrast to either of these. I can change the color to either of these. I can also change the language to maybe a specific language depending on what region I am at. You can leave it on auto detect. The dictation bit allows you to be able to, rather than typing in text, you can literally use a dictate option whereby you just speak and then it will transcribe, and then you can use that as your prompt. And let me go back to the settings. And you have other options like notifications, where you want to know how you want to be notified depending on whatever you're doing. And it's all counterintuitive. It's up to you to actually go into one of these and set it as you see it fit. Now, when it comes to personalization, there are some other things that you can configure, and this is how you actually make the model aware of you in terms of how you want it to actually behave, whether you want it to be as close as you. And there's a couple of options here, but we're not going to tackle that. We'll tackle that in the next lesson. And like I said, apps is where you can actually add so many apps. Like you can connect ChatGPT to, Gmail, Outlook calendar, Outlook, and all that. Data controls also gives you option to set up or manage how you want to manage the data that you're bringing into ChatGPT or whatever data you're keeping in ChatGPT in terms of the chats or the files and all that. So we'll have a look at that as well in the other lessons. Security basically how you keep yourself secure when using ChatGPT. And parental controls allows you to add other users. It depends on whatever subscription you're on. And account is basically what kind of subscription you're on at the moment. Do you want to upgrade or do you want to manage your billing and all that? So that's all to do with the workspace. Now I'm just going to put a quick chat here so you can see how chats are managed. So if I put in hello, how are you? And I get a response. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How's your day going? Now, on the left side, we now have a section that appeared called recents. So all your chats are going to be here on the left side under recents. Um, if you have a chat conversation that's going on and you want to keep it, you want to keep that context in a way that whenever you come back to the model, it should be able to understand what you're already talking about in a specific context window, then you would want to keep this conversation and you wouldn't want to delete it. You want to keep it in a way that whenever you have any updates on that conversation, you can always just come back to it. So that's essentially it's a saved chat. So long as this exists here, it's a saved chat. And if you end up having a lots of chats on the left side here, and you end up having a scroll of a lifetime of all the chats, you can either archive all the chats or then you can decide to have a way of grouping the conversation. So let's say we were talking about a specific topic to do with, say, employee requests, like leave letters, or let's say IT support tickets. Maybe you're trying to troubleshoot a problem about, say, a server not booting up after an update. And then instead of using one conversation to troubleshoot that, maybe you used one, two, three, four, five, six, seven different conversations to track that. And you want to keep it because you know it's something that's going to come back to you later on. And maybe you've learned a lot from it and you want it to be a point of reference that you can always come back to later on. Then what you can do as well is you probably create what we call a project, call that project whatever the topic is, maybe server management, and then you can move all the chats into that project. Now, at the moment, on the free account, you wouldn't be able to use projects because projects is an explicit feature on the plus. I'll be showing you that in a more premium account. But when it comes to the free account, we don't have anything like that. So what I'll suggest is just keep that at the back of your mind, know how it works. And that's all we want to know about workspace. I'll see you in the next lesson where we take it a step further.